Welcome to Earthenkind Quests. My name is Mike. In this episode of Nemesis Battles, the notorious draconic sorcerer Seblastion Drake performs a ritual ceremony for gaining the powers of a dragon, while other adventurers try to stop him. The opposing team includes a Wildheart barbarian, an Oath of Devotion paladin, and a light domain cleric. Additionally, a soulknife rogue has been acting as an ally with the sorcerer. All of the characters are at level 8, using the rules in the 2024 Player's Handbook of Dungeons & Dragons. If the sorcerer can complete his ritual, then he could advance from level 8 up to level 14. In the video text description, you can find the web links for all of the character sheets in D&D Beyond. You will notice that the characters are not necessarily optimized for this particular kind of combat encounter. The human draconic sorcerer is named Seblastion Drake. He is prepared with diverse spellcasting options, yet his personality guides him toward offensive actions and damage-dealing spells, especially with using fire. Seblastion Drake is on the verge of accomplishing his lifelong quest to gain the powers of a dragon. Leading up to this point, he betrayed or abandoned countless friends and allies, and he struck a bargain with an otherworldly force that eventually will extract his price from the sorcerer. Right now, Seblastion Drake is in a place of remote desert ruins, where he awakened the dormant energies at an arcane temple. The sorcerer used rare dragon gems and his bargain with an otherworldly force to channel magical power through 4 towering obelisks and into the temple. With this power surge, Seblastion Drake began the process of a ritual ceremony that will grant him the powers of a dragon. The drow elf soulknife rogue is named Gemma Brand. She prefers to operate with her stealth, clever thinking, and psychic blades. Gemma Brand is the last remaining survivor of a clandestine society, sworn to protect the secrets of an ancient draconic legacy, until such a time when a prophesied mage will resurrect this power. Currently, the draconic sorcerer Seblastion Drake appears to be the person who can make this prophecy into a reality, with a ritual ceremony that he is performing right now inside the arcane temple. Leading up to this point, Gemma Brand has slowed down and worn down the adventurers who otherwise might have stopped the sorcerer from completing the ritual ceremony. They still will pose a problem, but right now Gemma Brand has moved to the arcane temple where she personally can witness the completion of the ritual ceremony and ascertain for herself whether or not the sorcerer Seblastion Drake truly is the person as mentioned in the ancient prophecy. The human path of the Wildheart barbarian is named Anna Mole. She solves most of her problems with her barbarian rage, reckless attack, and great weapon master feat. Currently in the desert, Anna Mole became curious about the draconic sorcerer moving into the ruins of an arcane temple. She did not yet investigate much about the sorcerer because the soulknife rogue has been causing interference up to this point. The high elf Oath of Devotion paladin is named Vona Navan. She emphasizes her charisma ability instead of her strength ability, making her less effective with strength-based weapons damage, yet more effective with her spellcasting and divine features. The human light domain cleric is named Clara Cloudburn. She can provide the usual healing and support of any cleric, plus she can persevere through most combat situations using her spellcasting and special features for offensive damage, battlefield control, and defensive options. Vona Navan and Clara Cloudburn are students at the Spellsword Academy. As their final test to graduate from the academy, they are working on a quest to learn what the draconic sorcerer Seblastion Drake has been plotting. They followed the sorcerer to this place of ancient desert ruins, where they met with the Wildheart barbarian, Anna Mole. Together, the barbarian, the paladin, and the cleric faced a set of challenges orchestrated by the soulknife rogue, slowing them down and draining them of their resources, while the sorcerer advanced with his ritual ceremony at the arcane temple. In this moment, the soulknife rogue, Gemma Brand, enters into the arcane temple. Here, the sorcerer Seblastion Drake is concentrating intensely on his ritual ceremony, as if concentrating on a spell, but this ritual is even more demanding. The sorcerer cannot do anything else as an action, bonus action, or reaction until he can complete the ritual. Gemma Brand devoted her life to protect the secrets of the ancient draconic power that the sorcerer is attempting to resurrect. She is not yet convinced that the sorcerer truly is the person destined for this purpose. Gemma Brand can sense not only the draconic energy of this place, but also another energy that the sorcerer has brought into here. While observing and waiting, Gemma Brand finds a spot where she can hide behind a large stone column. She rolls for a stealth skill check with a result of 28. For now, the rogue is hidden, technically gaining the invisible condition. The barbarian, the paladin, and the cleric approach the arcane temple. Currently, they are missing some of their hit points and power resources. In particular, the paladin was in danger of dying, yet she was restored through magical healing. The light domain cleric, Clara Cloudburn, knows that the sorcerer is performing a ceremony to resurrect an ancient draconic power, yet she detects another otherworldly force as well. The cleric rolls a religion skill check. With a result of 16, she recognizes that a fiend somehow is involved with the ritual ceremony here. Unknown to anyone but the sorcerer at this time, the fiend told the sorcerer about this arcane temple where he could claim the power of a dragon. The fiend demanded first for the sorcerer to unlock a curse that prevented the fiend from claiming souls, and then the fiend provided the extra magical energy for the sorcerer to perform the ritual ceremony at the arcane temple. As a final price to pay, after the sorcerer eventually will die in this mortal realm, then his soul will belong to the fiend. Clara Cloudburn announces that a fiend is at work here. She moves toward the entrance of the temple. At the exterior of the temple, the Wildheart barbarian Anna Maul notices that the 4 towering stone obelisks are sending crackling energy into the temple. She estimates that she could damage at least one obelisk, enough to decrease the amount of power going into the temple. In the game mechanics, each obelisk is treated as a huge structure with armor class of 18 and 40 hit points to disable or 80 hit points to crumble or collapse. A damage threshold of 10 means that any single instance of damage must be at least 10 points or else produce 0 damage. The Oath of Devotion paladin Vona Navan decides to help the barbarian with trying to damage or disable at least one obelisk. She is familiar enough with legendary places to know that each obelisk here could act as a power source not only for the sorcerer's ritual ceremony, but also for providing special legendary powers. In the game mechanics, if the sorcerer can complete his ritual here, then each intact and functional obelisk will provide the sorcerer with 1 legendary resistance and 1 legendary action. The sorcerer has not yet completed his ritual. He will need to use another one of his turns to concentrate on the ritual and to do nothing else. At this point, the encounter moves into combat. All of the characters here roll for initiative. The soulknife rogue rolls with advantage due to her invisible condition while hidden with a result of 28. The other characters know that the rogue entered into the temple earlier, so they are not surprised with the disadvantage. The sorcerer rolls 7. The barbarian's feral instinct feature grants advantage on the roll, resulting in 25. The paladin rolls 3. The cleric rolls 11. The rogue will act first, followed by the barbarian, the cleric, then the sorcerer, and lastly the paladin. The paladin's otherworldly steed acts during the paladin's turn when it is a controlled mount. In round 1, the soulknife rogue Gemma Brand wants to prevent the light cleric from interfering with the ritual ceremony. Ordinarily in this kind of situation she would cast the darkness spell, but she already used her once per day casting of this spell as a drow elf feature. Gemma Brand considers the present situation. She notices that the sorcerer's ritual is causing a reaction with 2 of these special features here. First, a statue of a dragon's head is producing a storming cloud of fumes. This space is heavily obscured, and the fumes generate a sensation of toxicity. Second, the pool in the center of the temple is filled with a bizarre metallic liquid that embodies various elements reminiscent of the elemental powers of dragons, involving acid, cold, fire, lightning, and poison. Right now, Gemma Brand steps out from her hiding place while throwing a psychic blade at the light cleric. She rolls the attack with advantage due to the invisible condition of being hidden. A result of 24 hits against the armor class of 17. With all but 1 dice 6 of the sneak attack, the strike causes 23 psychic damage. It applies the Vex weapon mastery for advantage on the rogue's next attack against the cleric. Gemma Brand withheld 1 dice 6 of the sneak attack for applying a cunning strike of a trip. The cleric rolls a dexterity saving throw. With a result of 4, she is tripped and she falls prone. Gemma Brand moves back behind the cover of a large stone column. As a bonus action, she attempts to hide, She rolls a stealth skill check with a result of 22. For now, the rogue is hidden from everyone here, including the sorcerer. While she will remain hidden, Gemma Brand gains the invisible condition. The path of the Wildheart Barbarian, Anna Mole, begins her turn with 86 of her total 101 hit points due to damage during a previous encounter. As a bonus action, Anna Mole enters into her Barbarian Rage. She chooses the Bear option of her Rage of the Wilds feature, gaining resistance to all damage types except Force, Necrotic, Psychic, and Radiant. Anna Mole attacks the nearest obelisk that is empowering the sorcerer's activities. She makes 2 attacks with her maul, rolling with advantage of her Reckless attack feature. The first advantage attack roll of 23 hits against the obelisk armor class of 18. It inflicts 18 bludgeoning damage. The obelisk is damaged but still functional until it can be affected by at least 40 hit points of damage. The topple weapon mastery of the maul does not apply against the obelisk as a huge structure. The second advantage attack roll of 21 hits again. It produces 14 bludgeoning damage. The impact of the maul creates a shockwave through the obelisk. One more hit could disable this arcane device. Anna Mole trusts that her ally, the Devotion Paladin, can complete the task of disabling the obelisk. The barbarian moves toward the temple entrance, where she can be in a more useful position at the start of her next turn. The Light Domain Cleric, Clara Cloudburn, begins her first turn in the prone condition. She retains 70 of her total 75 hit points, only 1 spell slot of each casting level 1 through 4, all 3 uses of her Channel Divinity feature, and 4 of her 5 uses of her Warding Flare feature. Most of those spell slots were expended for healing the barbarian and then the paladin. The cleric needs to use half of her movement to stand up from the prone condition. She observes the pool of metallic liquid, the fuming dragon statue, and the draconic sorcerer concentrating intensively on the ritual performance. The cleric knows that the rogue is hiding somewhere inside this space, but she cannot see the rogue at this time. Clara Cloudburn uses her remaining movement to step forward and to stand clear from the entrance. She attempts to break the sorcerer's concentration. She casts the cantrip Mind Sliver. The sorcerer rolls an intelligence saving throw. A result of 2 fails. Seblastion Drake suffers 8 psych damage, and he must subtract 1 die 4 from his next saving throw. With this damage, the sorcerer needs to make a constitution saving throw right now to maintain his concentration on the ritual. He rolls with advantage due to the Warcaster feat. The advantage roll is 25. Even with the Mind Sliver subtracting 1 die 4, the final result of 23 is more than sufficient for the sorcerer to continue his concentration while chanting and building toward the conclusion of this ceremony. The draconic sorcerer, Seblastion Drake, must use his entire turn to concentrate on the ritual ceremony and to do nothing else. Technically, he could move within the ritual area, but he decides to remain in his current position. Seblastion Drake chants in an arcane version of a draconic language. At the end of his turn, he completes the ritual performance. An ancient power has been resurrected, and the sorcerer claims it as his own. In the game mechanics, Seblastion Drake will gain his new powers at the start of his next turn. The Oath of Devotion Paladin, Vona Navan, begins her first turn with only 42 of her total 68 hit points, only 2 of her first level spell slots, and only 1 of her second level spell slots. Her otherworldly steed retains 15 of its 25 hit points, and it already used its once per day feature of the phase step to teleport. Vona Navan understands that the barbarian caused substantial damage to this obelisk here. She hopes to add enough damage to disable the device. As part of the attack action, the Devotion Paladin activates her Sacred Weapon feature, adding her Charisma modifier to her attack roll with her longsword. The first attack roll of 28 hits the target. It causes 11 slashing damage, sufficient to disable the obelisk. The impact ripples through the obelisk and makes it shudder. The crackling energy fades. The device has been disabled. The paladin finds no immediate use of her second attack. She commands her steed to move into the arcane temple. Upon observing the scene here, Vona Navan decides to hold in a position nearby her ally, Clara Cloudburn. At the end of round 1, the draconic sorcerer begins to absorb the powers that he has desired. His opponents could not stop him. Furthermore, they have been weakened and drained of many of their power resources. In this moment, the fiend penetrates into the mind of the sorcerer, reminding the sorcerer about their bargain. After the sorcerer's eventual death in the mortal realm, then his soul will belong to the fiend in the fiend's domain. In round 2, the soulknife rogue Gemma Brand succeeded with her intention to assist the sorcerer until the completion of this ritual ceremony. Now the rogue can ascertain for herself whether or not the sorcerer truly is the person as mentioned in the prophecy, destined to resurrect an ancient draconic power that the rogue has dedicated her life to protect. Gemma Brand is aware that the sorcerer manipulated, betrayed, or abandoned several of his former allies. Furthermore, she detected something unusual about the sorcerer's use of magic here, drawing on an otherworldly presence apart from the draconic energy of this place. Meanwhile, the light cleric called out something about how an otherworldly fiend was at work here. With these thoughts in her mind, Gemma Brand decides to remain in her hidden position, waiting to learn more about what is happening. The Wildheart barbarian, Anna Moll, runs through the temple entrance. She decides to use her action to dash into melee contact with the sorcerer as a way to limit the sorcerer's options. Anna Moll uses her bonus action to continue her barbarian rage. The light domain cleric, Clara Cloudburn, announces that the sorcerer should stop whatever he is doing. Whatever bargain he made with the fiend will bring disastrous consequences. As expected, Seblastion Drake does not heed this warning. He responds with a cackle of laughter, delirious with the power just now within his reach. Clara Cloudburn casts Guiding Bolt with a 3rd level spell slot. The attack roll of 26 hits the sorcerer, and it is too high to be blocked by a shield spell. The bolt causes 21 radiant damage, and the next attack roll against the sorcerer will gain advantage. The draconic sorcerer, Seblastion Drake, at last gains the power of a dragon. In the game mechanics, he advances from level 8 up to level 14 as a draconic sorcerer. As a bonus action, he sprouts draconic wings that grant a flying speed of 60 feet. He considers to fly upward, but he is not willing at this time to risk an opportunity attack by the barbarian. Given the sorcerer's new higher hit point maximum compared to the damage that he already sustained, he retains 71 of his new total of 100 hit points. The temple now acts as the sorcerer's legendary lair. For each of the temple's intact and functional obelisks, Seblastion Drake gains 1 legendary resistance, allowing to fail a saving throw, yet decide to succeed instead. Additionally, for each functioning obelisk, Seblastion Drake gains 1 legendary action that he can use at the end of another creature's turn. The draconic sorcerer absorbs his new powers. Seblastion Drake admits that yes indeed he struck a bargain with a fiend to learn about this temple and to activate the powers that have been dormant here for unknown centuries. Now though, he controls such power that nobody can stop him, not even this otherworldly fiend. The sorcerer proclaims that he will disregard any relationship with the fiend, just like he did with his former allies, companions, and anyone else who helped him along the way to this point. Seblastion Drake casts the spell Summon Dragon, using a 6th level spell slot. In this case, the arcane temple acts as the costly material component of an object depicting a dragon and worth at least 500 gold pieces. The summoned dragon emerges from the pool of metallic liquid of draconic elemental energy. With the upcasting of a 6th level spell slot, the draconic spirit gains an armor class of 20 and a total of 60 hit points. During each of its turns, the draconic spirit can make 3 rend attacks and use its breath weapon. The draconic spirit shares the sorcerer's initiative count, and it acts immediately after the sorcerer. Seblastion Drake commands the draconic spirit to attack the intruders, starting with the paladin. The summoned dragon flies into a position to attack the paladin. It can attack with a reach of 10 feet. It makes 3 rend attacks. As a reaction, the cleric uses her Warding Flare feature, granting 14 temporary hit points to the paladin and imposing disadvantage on the first rend attack. With disadvantage, the first attack roll is a natural 1, automatically missing. The second rend attack roll is 29, hitting against the armor class of 17. It causes 12 piercing damage. The third attack roll of 22 hits again. It brings another 14 piercing damage. Given the attack position with the reach of 10 feet, the draconic spirit can fly away without provoking an opportunity attack. In a convenient position, it releases its 30-foot cone of fire. The paladin, the paladin's steed, and the cleric all make dexterity saving throws. They all gain the +5 bonus of the paladin's aura of protection. The paladin rolls 12, her steed rolls 24, the cleric rolls 14. With the failed saving throws, the paladin and the cleric both suffer 7 fire damage. The Oath of Devotion paladin, Vona Navan, commands her steed to disengage and to avoid opportunity attacks by the draconic spirit while moving into melee contact with the sorcerer. Vona Navan attacks twice with her sacred weapon longsword. The first attack roll of 22 hits the sorcerer, too high to be blocked by a shield spell. The attack causes 10 slashing damage. The sap weapon mastery imposes disadvantage on the sorcerer's next attack roll. As a bonus action, the paladin applies a divine smite. Using her last second level spell slot, the smite adds 16 radiant damage. Seblastion Drake rolls a constitution saving throw to concentrate on his summoned dragon. With the advantage of the warcaster feat, a result of 21 succeeds. The paladin's second attack roll of 16 is blocked by the sorcerer casting the shield spell, boosting his armor class up to 21. After the paladin's turn, the sorcerer uses his first legendary action. He absorbs more power from the obelisks. For each of the 3 currently intact obelisks, he gains 10 temporary hit points for a total of 30. The sorcerer cannot use this particular legendary action again until after his next turn. At the end of round 2, Seblastion Drake is only just now starting to explore his new powers. He announces that the intruders present a nuisance, but they could offer an opportunity for the sorcerer to begin his path toward world domination. In round 3, the soulknife rogue Demabrand recognizes that she made a grave mistake to assist the sorcerer. Hopefully, though, she can act quickly to correct her mistake. The rogue steps out from her hiding place while throwing a psychic blade at the sorcerer. She attacks with advantage due to the invisible condition that has not yet been broken. A result of 26 hits through the sorcerer's shield spell. Including the sneak attack, the sorcerer suffers 25 psychic damage. The Vex weapon mastery grants advantage on the rogue's next attack against the sorcerer. With the damage, Seblastion Drake rolls a constitution saving throw to concentrate on his summoned dragon. With the warcaster feat, the advantage roll of 16 succeeds. Once again, the rogue moves behind cover. As a bonus action, she attempts to hide. She rolls a stealth skill check with a result of 23. For now, Demabrand is hidden with the invisible condition. After the rogue's turn, Seblastion Drake uses another legendary action. He causes the storming cloud of fumes to expand from the statue of the dragon's head and to fill the entire interior space of the temple. Within this space, all non-draconic creatures must make a constitution saving throw or else become poisoned. The barbarian, the paladin, and the paladin's steed gain the +5 bonus of the paladin's aura of protection. The saving throws are 19 for the rogue, 27 for the barbarian, 24 for the paladin, 12 for the paladin's steed, and 15 for the cleric. The fumes recede back toward the statue. Meanwhile, the cleric and the paladin's steed are poisoned, each until the ends of their next turns. During this time, the poisoned condition imposes disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls. The Path of the Wildheart Barbarian, Anna Maul, senses that the sorcerer's defenses are weakening. She makes 2 attacks with her maul. With the advantage of her reckless attack, a result of 27 hits through the sorcerer's shield spell. It delivers 16 bludgeoning damage. The sorcerer rolls a constitution saving throw to avoid being toppled. A result of 21 succeeds. With the damage, though, Seblastion Drake needs to roll another constitution saving throw to concentrate on his summoned dragon. With the warcaster feat, the advantage roll of 26 succeeds. Again, with the barbarian's reckless advantage, a second maul attack hits the sorcerer. It causes 18 bludgeoning damage. Once more, the sorcerer rolls a constitution saving throw to avoid being toppled. A result of 24 succeeds. The damage forces Seblastion Drake to roll another constitution saving throw to concentrate on his summoned dragon. With the warcaster advantage, a result of 25 succeeds. Anna Maul can sense that her attacks have broken through the sorcerer's extra protective shield of temporary hit points. The sorcerer scoffs defiantly, trying to hide the fact that he retains only 16 of his total 100 hit points. After the barbarian's turn, the sorcerer uses his third legendary action. He commands the pool of draconic elemental energy to leap out. The energy grabs the sorcerer and transports him into a new position without provoking opportunity attacks. In his new position, the sorcerer is mounted on the summoned draconic spirit. The sorcerer's legendary actions are powered by the obelisks outside the temple. Only 3 of the 4 obelisks are active at this time. In this case, after using 3 legendary actions, the sorcerer cannot do so again until after his next turn. The Light Domain Cleric, Clara Cloudburn, continues to suffer the poisoned condition until the end of her current turn, imposing disadvantage on her ability checks and attack rolls. She recognizes that the Sorcerer is much more powerful now with his legendary actions, and probably with legendary resistances. Furthermore, she knows that the Sorcerer's affinity with fire makes him resistant to fire damage. Given these considerations, Cleric Cloudburn decides to cast Fireball with her last 4th level spell slot. The blast generates 28 fire damage. The fireball is positioned at a height to engulf only the Sorcerer and the Summoned Dragon. The Sorcerer and the Summoned Dragon roll their dexterity saving throws. The Sorcerer rolls 16 and succeeds. The Summoned Dragon rolls 9 and fails. They both are resistant to the fire damage, reduced to 7 for the Sorcerer with the saving throw success, and 14 for the Summoned Dragon with the failure. The Sorcerer rolls a Constitution saving throw to concentrate on the Summoned Dragon. With the Warcaster advantage, a result of 15 succeeds. The draconic sorcerer, Seblastion Drake, suddenly finds himself with very few options. He cannot use any more of his legendary actions until the end of his next turn. Now, during his turn, the sorcerer is aware that he retains only 9 of his total 100 hit points. He considers to teleport away to safety, but he cannot live with this kind of defeat. As a bonus action, Seblastion Drake activates his innate sorcery. He gains advantage on his spell attack rolls, and he adds a +1 bonus to his spellcasting saving throws. As his action, the sorcerer upcasts Fireball with a 5th level spell slot. The blast is situated to affect everyone inside the temple. The fire flows around the stone columns while generating 40 points of fire damage. With 2 sorcery points, the sorcerer's careful metamagic protects himself and his summoned dragon. The rogue rolls her dexterity saving throw. A result of 20 succeeds. With her evasion feature, the rogue sustains 0 damage. The barbarian, the paladin, and the paladin's steed gain the +5 bonus of the paladin's aura of protection. The barbarian rolls with the advantage of her danger sense, succeeding with 19 for half damage, and reduced again by half with the bear option of her Rage of the Wilds. The paladin rolls 21 and succeeds for half damage. The steed rolls 16 and fails for the full damage. The cleric rolls 11 and fails for the full 40 points of fire damage. The paladin stands with only 3 of her total 68 hit points. The paladin's steed has vanished back into its otherworldly home. The light cleric falls with 0 hit points. She is unconscious and incapacitated. Seblastion Drake uses his draconic wings to fly into a position behind cover and about 15 feet above the floor of the temple. He commands the summoned dragon to attack the remaining enemies, starting with the paladin. The first rend attack at the paladin rolls 16, missing against the armor class of 17. The second rend attack of 28 hits the paladin. It causes 12 piercing damage. The Oath of Devotion paladin, Vonanavan, falls with 0 hit points. She is unconscious and incapacitated. The summoned dragon shifts its attention to the barbarian. The third rend attack hits. It produces 16 piercing damage, reduced by half with the barbarian's damage resistance. The summoned dragon releases its fire breath at the barbarian. Anna Maul rolls a dexterity saving throw with advantage of her danger sense. A result of 19 is enough to succeed and to avoid the fire breath. The Oath of Devotion paladin, Vonanavan, rolls her first death saving throw. A result of 10 succeeds. The paladin fights to stay in the world of the living. After the paladin's turn, the draconic sorcerer, Seblastion Drake, uses a legendary action. At this critical moment of the battle, the sorcerer draws on the energy of the 3 intact obelisks of the Arcane Temple, absorbing 10 temporary hit points from each obelisk for a total of 30 temporary hit points. At the end of round 3, Seblastion Drake narrowly escaped defeat. At least for now, he may have shifted the tide of battle into his favor. At this point, though, the combat still could go in any direction. In round 4, the soulknife rogue Gemma Brand moves out from her hiding place, aiming to throw a psychic blade at the sorcerer. At first, though, she cannot gain a clear line of sight. Gemma Brand continues to move, losing the benefits of the invisible condition while she finds an effective targeting position. With the Vex weapon mastery from her prior attack, the rogue throws her psychic blade with advantage. An attack roll of 23 hits the sorcerer, too high to be blocked by his shield spell. With the sneak attack, the psychic blade delivers 23 psychic damage. Once again, the Vex weapon mastery grants advantage on the rogue's next attack against the sorcerer. The rogue considered about using a cunning strike to attempt to trip the flying sorcerer down into the prone condition, but she understood that the sorcerer could avoid this possibility through a legendary resistance. Gemma Brand moves back behind cover. As a bonus action, she attempts to hide. With a stealth skill check of 24, she is hidden for now, with the invisible condition. After the rogue's turn, the sorcerer uses a legendary action. This time he causes the pool of draconic energy to lash out at the barbarian. The sorcerer rolls a spell attack with advantage due to his innate sorcery feature, as well as due to the barbarian's reckless attack. A result of 28 hits the barbarian. The barbarian rolls 1d10 to ascertain the type of the draconic energy. A result of 10 indicates poison damage. The amount of damage is 15, reduced by half with the barbarian's current damage resistance. The path of the Wildheart Barbarian, Anna Mole, moves toward the sorcerer. She exits the reach of the summoned dragon, triggering an opportunity attack. The summoned dragon rolls with advantage due to the barbarian's prior reckless attack. A result of 24 hits. It causes 12 piercing damage, reduced by half with the barbarian's damage resistance. With the Panther option of her Aspects of the Wild feature, Anna Mole uses her climb speed to climb up the stone column next to the sorcerer. The barbarian holds her maul in one hand while climbing with her other hand, but then the barbarian cannot maintain a solid grip while using both of her hands to attack with her maul. In this case, Anna Mole allows herself to fall, while making one reckless attack with advantage at the sorcerer. The advantage roll 27 hits. It causes 17 bludgeoning damage. The draconic sorcerer, Seblastion Drake, is reduced to 0 hit points. He is unconscious and incapacitated. He automatically loses concentration on the summoned dragon. The creature vanishes. The sorcerer and the barbarian both fall down to the floor of the temple. They land in the prone condition. The fall produces 9 bludgeoning damage. The barbarian reduces the damage by half with her damage resistance. The damage causes the sorcerer automatically to fail 1 death saving throw. The draconic sorcerer, Seblastion Drake, has been defeated. For the purposes of our story, the barbarian stabilizes and revives her allies. Together, they recognize that an ancient draconic energy has been awakened in this place. Unknown to these 3 adventurers right now, inside the temple, the soulknife rogue Gemma Brand contemplates how to fulfill her lifelong sworn duty to protect the secrets of the ancient draconic power. She decides that Seblastion Drake cannot be allowed to live and to pose any further threat. Gemma Brand delivers a final strike to defeat the sorcerer once and for all. In this moment, a fiendish fire erupts around the sorcerer's body. Suddenly, the body vanishes from this world. The draconic sorcerer Seblastion Drake finds himself in the fiery domain of the fiend. His soul now belongs here. The fiend admonishes the sorcerer for failing to wield the powers that were granted to him. In particular, the sorcerer manipulated, betrayed, and abandoned the allies who could have helped him. In this case, the fiend decides that the sorcerer should meet with 2 of his former allies who happen to be here as well. At the Arcane Temple, the barbarian, the paladin, and the cleric find that the sorcerer has vanished. The paladin and the barbarian both agree that as long as the sorcerer has been stopped, then they are satisfied. Clara Cloudburn confirms that the presence of a fiend has vanished from this place. She concludes that most likely a fiendish entity claimed the soul of the sorcerer. The 3 adventurers recognize that an ancient draconic energy persists here, yet nobody at this time is attuned with the temple. Whatever powers are in this place, they will remain mysterious. While the 3 adventurers are distracted, the soulknife rogue Gemma Brand escapes silently. She will continue with her mission to protect the secrets of the ancient draconic power. Vona Navan and Clara Cloudburn have completed their quest to learn what the sorcerer was planning. Now they will return to the Spellsword Academy to report their findings and to graduate from the academy. Anna Mole decides to travel with them in search of new experiences and developing friendships. Our story will continue in the next episodes of Nemesis Battles. For now, in the comment section, please share your ideas and suggestions about what could have happened differently and what could happen next. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.